This one's wife. Give me a castle. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Narcissists are well known for being demanding. This is because their narcissism causes them to believe that they are the centre of the universe, that everybody knows what the narcissist needs, or ought to know what the narcissist needs. That everybody else should anticipate the requirements of the narcissist and attend to them, and if you don't, that makes you an awful and disloyal individual. That if you fail to anticipate the requirements of the narcissist, that shows that you truly cannot care about the narcissist, and results in you being painted black. Naturally, the narcissist is often rather vague about what they demand, expecting you to second-guess, to read minds. In some instances, though, the demands are particularly forthright. Often they're spectacularly self-absorbed, but that doesn't matter, because in the world of the narcissist they're seen as entirely appropriate, and that you should attend to them, that you should acquiesce and fulfill the demands and requirements that the narcissist has. Often they're driven by the grandiosity of the narcissist, that sense of entitlement, that whatever the narcissist wants, the narcissist gets. After all, Harry memorably said those very words about this one's wife. And as per the Daily Express and an article by Catherine Mayer Fennell, the headline reads, "This one's wife requested to live in Windsor Castle, but late Queen felt it inappropriate." After their marriage, Prince Harry and this one's wife moved into Frogmore Cottage, but apparently this was not always their first choice. This one's wife and Prince Harry's request to live at Windsor Castle with Queen Elizabeth was deemed inappropriate, and she politely but firmly suggested they live elsewhere, according to reports. How I would have loved to have witnessed her response to that request. Can you imagine this one's wife? "Gee, I'm in England. I've always wanted to live in the castle. Let me live in yours. You can live there too if you like." I don't think I'll be having this adventuress living in my castle. Jeeves, remove her. The Queen would be entirely nonplussed at such a suggestion, and undoubtedly, at the point when this request/demand was made, the Queen was already having reservations about the involvement of this one's wife in the royal family. The last thing that she would want is to have her on her doorstep. Now, admittedly, Windsor Castle is not exactly a two up, two down, but the point is, it was the Queen's private bastion, and she would not have wanted this one's wife mooching around and behaving as if the place belonged to her. Undoubtedly, the Queen will have witnessed some behaviours of that nature beforehand, whereby this one's wife would swan around, issuing orders to people, telling them what to do, and generally acting as if she were the Queen. The Express continues by explaining that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex married in Windsor on May 19th, 2018, and were later gifted the 10-bedroom Frogmore Cottage to use as their home, close to the castle, where Her late Majesty liked to spend much of the year. And of course, given the fact that she would like to spend much of the year there, she is not going to want the Duchess of Beige cluttering things up. The Times claimed that Harry and this one's wife initially wanted to live in the larger royal residence and asked if living quarters could be made available after their marriage, but were informed this would not be possible. Of course, this rejection, dependent upon the way that it was conveyed to her, would have amounted to challenge fuel. And therefore, because she was basically told no, she was given fuel, but it was a challenge because it threatened her sense of control, namely, she wasn't getting what she wanted. This would have started to manifest in her mind that the royal family were horrible racist meanies. After all, she deserved to live in a castle. She was naturally, and is, the most amazing person in the universe, according to her narcissism, and therefore why shouldn't she get to live in Windsor Castle? Her grandiosity would drive her to make such a request. Her absence of emotional empathy would not cause her to consider how that might impact upon other people. But The refusal would present a problem and would ignite her fury. She wasn't going to go and approach the Queen directly and slap her about the face and say, "Come on, there's loads of room here, let me live here, you're going to be dead anyway soon." Rather, she would complain to Harry about it. "I can't believe that you won't let us live there. William and the Nemesis have got a lovely property, why not us? They've got it in for us, Harold. They don't like us. You need to do more. You need to start putting some stick about." And, of course, that was often the motivating factor for Harry to go on a rampage, shouting and screaming himself as his own narcissistic traits came to the fore. After a series of renovations, the Sussexes moved into Frogmore in April 2019, welcoming their son, Prince Archie, just a few weeks later. But following the publication of Harry's memoir Spare in January this year, they were asked to vacate the property. Windsor Castle has been a primary royal residence since the days of the Norman conquest, with several smaller royal properties nestled in its grounds. Prince William and Princess Kate live with their 3 children, Prince George, Prince Charlotte and Prince Louis, at Adelaide Cottage in Windsor, close to where they go to school at Lambrook. Prince Andrew and his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson are still living at the Royal Lodge, despite reported attempts to move them out, as Andrew signed a 75-year lease on the mansion in 2003. In her book, The New Royals, expert Katie Nicholl discussed the Queen's decision to give Frogmore to Harry and this one's wife, quoting the late Lady Elizabeth Anson, who died in 2020. Lady Elizabeth claimed the monarch felt that living at Frogmore was significant, and she hoped the Duke and Duchess would respect her generous offer. And at the end of the day, being given a place to live is a generous offer. But to a narcissist such as this one's wife, it doesn't matter. If she got her eye on being at Windsor Castle and wasn't given that, anything else, no matter how good it might be, is viewed through the lens of the offer being painted black, and therefore is pooh-poohed. Lazy Elizabeth, is quoted as saying the cottage was a big deal. The Queen's entrance into the gardens is right next to their cottage. It's essentially her backyard, her solitude and her privacy. She was giving that up in gifting Harry and this one's wife Frogmore Cottage. We all thought it was very big of her. She said, "I hope they'll respect that." Following Harry and this one's wife's eviction, Princess Eugenie and her husband Jack Brooksbank spent some time at the cottage with their young family. However, they currently split their time between the United Kingdom and Portugal. Eugenie and Jack and their 2 sons, August and Ernest, live at Ivy Cottage in the grounds of Kensington Palace when they are in London, but travel to Portugal for a few months each year due to Jack's work. Again, notice how it was deemed that offering them Frogmore Cottage was actually rather generous vis-à-vis the impact it would have upon the privacy of the Queen. But this one's wife wouldn't care about that. She's the important one. She was the true Queen, and she wanted to be at the castle. And the fact that she wasn't given that, notwithstanding the generosity of the alternative, would mean that she would complain about that, and it would be another item on her hit list in terms of victimhood, complaining about how things weren't going given to her purely because the royal family were racist. That is how she would have interpreted the knockback. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.